hiding, but that's fine. Actually, nobody. Well, I'm Rene Banuelos. I co-founded Twin Social with Andrew, a few other guys, and I injured both shoulders in less than 3 months riding a bicycle. So I don't know if that's interesting or sad, but trying to do the triathlon thing. But big crowd. I want to thank everybody for being here. We've actually, this is probably twice or 3 times as much as we usually have. But first, I want to congratulate Josh for putting this together. This started with maybe 5 people, not too long ago. So this is the power of his marketing. So first of all, we actually there's a lot we do with Twin Social. Mainly, we help create promo pages inside Facebook to promote your business and actually make some dollars on Facebook. Contrary to what most people think, you can actually make money on Facebook. It's not just for fun. But there's a lot I can go over, so really I want feedback. Whatever you guys want me to stop on or talk about, I can talk about each slide for 2 days. So if you want me to stay on that slide, I can. Otherwise I won't, obviously. But just to tell a little bit about myself, I started programming when I was 14, and I started my first business when I was 13. And I love people and I love psychology, so Twin Social allowed me to both the marketing side, the technology, and the business all together. So those are like my 3 passions, all in one. A few months ago, I think it's almost a year ago, right? One of our partners actually decided to launch his own Kickstarter campaign. It was actually a dress called the Undress. Some of you may have heard of it, that allows women to change without getting naked or in public. And we helped with some of his campaigns with Facebook, and we realized, wow, there's an opportunity here to help a lot more people actually get some traction on Kickstarter and actually get some results, because most campaigns on Kickstarters fail, right? So I want to know who I'm talking to. So show of hands, who here is either in the middle of a campaign on Kickstarter or Indigo or any other crowdfunding site, or planning to very soon? Okay, good. All right, great. So I'm going to go ahead and that, because a lot of the stuff I'm going to cover, you can actually apply to a lot of different businesses, not just Kickstarter or promoting anything really. But actually, a couple of things with Kickstarter for those who here has no idea what Kickstarter is, and you just thought it was a cool meetup, and I'm going to go ballpark view and all that. No? Everybody knows? Okay, great. Well, one of the things I like about Kickstarter, to me, is because it actually brings out the passion in someone. I was talking to somebody earlier about that. If most of you are probably entrepreneurs and you're probably thinking of some idea and it's in your mind for who knows how long, and for most people it stays there, it never gets out of their mind, it doesn't even reach paper. But with Kickstarter, even though some of the ideas take a lot of money to get started and people can't find venture capital and all that, it allows the average person to actually launch their idea and see their passion come to life. The Frankenstein effect, right? It's alive and somebody wants it. And I can actually create a company out of it. That's where I like it. Because to me, the entrepreneur is the unsung hero. Nobody credits the entrepreneur for everything we do for our society, right? We create jobs and we stimulate the economy. Nothing would move forward if entrepreneurship would come to a pause, right? Would you agree?
Yes.
Right? Thank you. So that's what I love about Kickstarter. But a few things I want to know that's not actually on my slide, but I wanted to cover is just a couple things that I think are important on Kickstarter. And I'll share a story that happened. I won't mention who, but Kickstarter was meant mainly for actually bringing some innovation or some idea to market, so something new and creative. And it's meant usually for somebody who's an underdog, who's somebody that's not an Apple or a Google, right? Someone who really needs help. Wow. Can somebody walk down there and tell them that we're having a meeting? Figures it's late. Who's going to be working right now, right? But so it's not meant for an established product. It's not meant for you to grab something from off the shelf and say I'm going to sell it on Kickstarter. Actually, a few days ago we realized that there's a campaign going for close to $500,000 in funds, and Kickstarter shut it down. No more funds, because it was simply a product that you can actually order online in bulk, and they decided to promote it on Kickstarter. It's not an innovation. It's not somebody's dreams, and it's not somebody's passion. It's just that's all it was. That's not what Kickstarter is. So I wanted to make sure that
no more technical difficulties.
Yeah, it is. I guess if you don't use your laptop for a few minutes. There you go. think in any marketing, you need, there's three things I'm going to cover. The first one is data. You need to identify who your customer is and have a clue, right? Who are you marketing to? Are you selling to teenagers? Are you selling to senior citizens? What type of market likes your product? That's very, very important, right? The second thing is, especially in Kickstarter campaigns, they happen quickly. It's like maybe a year, 3 or 4 years of marketing that happen in 30 days. So you need as much help as you can get. So how can your campaign go viral? That's very important because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. You're not going to be able to pay enough ads. If this thing doesn't go viral, it's not going to go anywhere, right? So next thing is community and relationships. One thing I'll admit to it, I'm not a pro on the Kickstarter side of it. What we learned here is how to actually market it, but one of our partners is. And one of the things I've learned from him, and some of you who've heard him, his name's Dennis Keiko, say that if your project is just simply a project, you're actually launching something on Kickstarter, and you want to make some money in 30 days and deliver the product and you're done, then you don't care about your community. That's probably not your goal. Who cares if they don't know who you are, if they don't love you, if they're not going to follow you and support you after the fact, because you're done with that business after your campaign's over and you deliver that product. But what if you want more than that? What if you want a company? Who's in the middle of a campaign right now? Would you say it's a project, or do you want a company after that? Do you want to sustain that? Do you want just to raise some funds now, deliver a product, and you're done, or are you going to keep going?
No, it's going to be ongoing.
Ongoing?
It's going to sustain, yeah.
So it's a company and a product.
Yeah, yeah.
Project, right? Company, right? Yeah. Anyone doing a project? Okay, just
more like a company because my project alone is being funded before the project, and now it's being funded as a project.
so it's gonna survive after you deliver that product, right?
Most likely, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if it's gonna be a company, you definitely want to build a community around you, because once a Kickstarter is done and you get that whole excitement about the fact that hey, it's over in 30 days, you have more chances to win. To buy or to pledge or get that product. Who's gonna buy from you then? Right? You need to have a community. I'll tell you a little short story about community. Growing up, I hated community. And I'll tell you why. My parents had a bakery, and this was community for me growing up. I was probably 7, 8 years old, and at 11 o'clock at night, we actually lived next door to the bakery. It's a small town. They would knock on our door and say, hey, you know what, my wife's 6 months pregnant, she's craving this pastry, can you sell it to me? And this would happen more often than I was excited about. I hated it, and my parents would say, well, you know what? Those are our customers. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't have an income, right? So I told myself, I'm never gonna have a business that requires community, right? But now I actually love community. One of the things that technology has done is allow you to have that without getting up from bed. Sometimes I'm in bed about to go to sleep, and I check my phone, and I check the groups that we have for the company, for our customers, and someone has a question. I can't go to bed unless I answer it. Even if I tried, it just bugs me if I don't. And not because I feel like, I got to, otherwise they won't love our product or they won't love our company. It's funny, it's just you want to. And that's one of the things that we leverage Facebook. Some of these Facebook makes it easy, right? Who here, after I said that, who here loves community and who hates it? Raise your hand. Who still hates it? If you ever did. Nobody? No? Okay, you won't admit to it. But who loves it? Who loves community? Okay, somebody, anyone, reason why you love community after I said what I said? No?
People are awesome.
What?
People are awesome.
Okay. So
What
you
would
like
life be without a social life?
Free beer.
free beer?
Yeah, you realize your challenges are not specific to you. It's something that everyone's dealing with.
Okay, got it. Anyone else?
They help make me successful.
Correct. Back there?
Engagement. People talk to other people. That's what I like about the community.
Exactly. Not only that, they're your test group, right? They tell you what they want. Instead of guessing what you're going to provide next, they give you that answer, right? You're not guessing. They know, before you build something that they're going to want it. So, and they tell all their friends about it, and they get excited about it, and they love your product more than you love your product, so it's crazy. Andrew actually here recently filmed some of our best customers on testimonials, and we were shocked how much they love our product. who couldn't believe it. I told them we're gonna play those testimonials every morning, and we have that replace the coffee because it drives you, right? So anyway, I'm gonna move on because I can be on forever. I'm gonna speak for this. How much time do we have, Josh?
He's not even
not
here.
here.
We have like half an hour.
He's holding the throats of the drum player.
Okay, one thing important here with data. Now, when you build a fan page on Facebook, and you have, let's say, 100,000 likes, who owns those likes? Facebook, right? Okay. Now, if you have 5,000 backers on Kickstarter, you're in the middle of the campaign. You don't know their emails. You just know their name. You don't even know where they're from. You know nothing about them. Just that Joe Smith pledged $200 for your product for maybe option number 3. That's all you know. Who owns that client at that point in time?
Kickstarter.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because if your campaign gets shut down and you're $500,000 in, and they decided that it doesn't quite fit the rules, that's it. You don't have any data on those people who said they would buy your product. You're done. You don't own that customer, right? When Apple first started working with publishers for the iPhone, the only thing that publisher got was an ID. That's it. Customer ID XYZ or 123 bought your magazine. They could not communicate with that customer. They had no email, no way, nothing. Apple owned that customer, not the newspaper. Not the publication, right? So one of the things that's important while your campaign's going on is actually knowing who's buying from you. I'll give you an example. We worked with a skateboard company. They launched a product called Jelly Skateboards. And initially, they thought their biggest customers were people between 18 to 25, guys, right? So guess what was all the images that they had on their Facebook page, on their campaign, were women with bikinis holding a skateboard, right? And then they realized that that wasn't their market. Their biggest market were moms buying skateboards for their kids. So guess what they did when they found out that there was moms and not kids? They changed their imagery, they changed their message, right? So that's an example. It's very, very important for you to know who the heck is actually buying, who's interested in my product. Not only that, how do I communicate with them, right? If Kickstarter owns that customer and I don't, I'm flying that plane. Who landed that plane? It was you back there, right? Who landed that plane? 15 you were? You said? Imagine you're flying that plane, you're landing and you're blindfolded. What are the chances of surviving?
0.
Exactly. So essentially in marketing, if you don't have a way, if you don't own that customer, if you have no way to communicate with that customer and ask them to send you more, share with friends or anything else you're selling them, that's it, right? You're flying blind. You're gonna crash. One of the things that we do, and I'm going to tell you that there's ways you can do that. I'm going to tell you what we do, but you don't have to use our software. You can figure out some other way yourself if you want. But we actually leverage Facebook to collect the customer on Kickstarter, collect their Facebook ID. We collect their name, their email, their age, their gender, and where they're from. So that when you're getting customers, you'll realize, God, somebody from the other side of the world just bought from me. I have no clue that country even existed, right? But more importantly, who's run ads on Facebook here before? I'm sure, yeah, of course you have. If you don't know who your customer is, then you can't market to people like that customer. So on Facebook, there's something called a lookalike audience. You can actually upload a list and say, Facebook, advertise to people like this group. Here's 500 people. Find me people like that with the same interests, same age group. Facebook will do all the crunching, figure out all the patterns, and actually find, it'll tell you, oh, there's 2 million people just like that. Boom, I advertise to them. If you don't do that and you just say, hey, Facebook, advertise to everybody, you're wasting money, right? How many times have you been watching a TV or even going through your news feed and you watch a commercial and there's absolutely no way you would be interested in that product? A lot, right? Right? Well, the goal of Facebook is to get it to the point where you see that ad and you go, thank you, Facebook, because that's exactly what I was looking for. So they know you so well that you're actually only seeing the ads that you want to see, right? So that's a goal. If you actually know who your customer is, and we have technology to help you do that, then you can actually improve your advertising on top of the fact that you can improve your message, right? Which I have that, but I'm not going to go into much of how we solve the problem because if you're interested, you can talk later. But we essentially allow that customer to register through a system, and that's where we collect their information. We connect it to a Facebook profile, and that's how we get all that data. So Kickstarter does allow you to message them and say, hey, thank you for buying, blah, 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 we love you. This wouldn't work without you, whatever your message is. By the way, how would you like the free downloads right now of, I don't know, you're doing, your customers are probably people who travel a lot. I mean, how to survive an airport, right? And if you travel, you know that there's things you need to know, right? To survive an airport. But anyway, they download something, there's immediate satisfaction right off the bat. They don't have to wait, I don't know, 30 or 40 days. I'm sorry, no, like 6 or 7 months actually. To get a product, they get a free download now. They feel they got something, right? So that's one of the things that we, and I really recommend, whether you use our stuff or something else, you gotta give them something that feels like, I just paid $200 for this product, I got something out of it, right? They love you for it, right? Because you might not deliver, I hope you do. But so for the moment, I hope you keep them happy. But not only that, if you send them somewhere where there's your video and you're thanking them and they get to know a little more about you, then that's also great. Anyway, I'm going to skip through some of these things. Slow me down because I'll keep going, right? Let's see. That's our back office. Next thing I'm going to cover is how do I go viral? Who's heard of people say, I'm going to create a viral video? You laughing because you know what I'm talking about.
Trying, still trying.
always hit.
I want you to create a viral video from it, right?
I have an interesting piece of information for you. All new to me, but the very first day that I was on there, I was getting probably at least 10 people advertising to me that they would do your service.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. You're gonna
Amazing
get hounded.
number of people. Where they come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
And they'll all make me get a million.
Of course.
They'll increase
So,
your
yeah.
traffic by 500%. Sorry, your transaction.
At first I didn't know. I had to ask my son, what do I do? I gotta get this stuff.
You should look into it. One of them may be good, I think. But
9
yeah, of course, your information is public. You know how to
So there are
contact
a lot
it.
of people doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing what's the word? What? PR. Yes, there are people doing PR. Sure. But PR may work, may not work. It's a crapshoot, really. But how do you go viral? And mainly having enough people interested in what you have that tell enough people about it, and having that thing be interesting enough so those people keep telling more people, right? But you can't build a viral video. There's no, like, I'm going to add the viral feature to it, and it's going to go viral, right? You're kind of just guessing if someone's going to like this or not, right? But who here really, really loves a product that the minute you bought it, you went and told a friend about it? Someone back there. What was the product?
Oh, very specific. Okay.
Something. Or somebody else. Back there?
Team Treehouse.
What?
Team Treehouse. It's an online code learning website.
So you got it, and then what'd you do? Call friends? Share it? What do you do?
Well, they shared it on Facebook.
Okay.
Asked more people to sign up because they think it's free shit.
Okay, because what? Because of what? They do what?
They give you like a free month or something like that if you get X amount of people sign up.
So they bribe you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly, right? Most of us will see a product, we really like it, but we're so busy, we might not take the time to tell our friends, even though our friends could probably really use it. Oh, I'll get to it. So the easier you make it for them, that's why there's share buttons everywhere. The easier you make it for them, the more likely that's going to go viral. But if you bribe them, right, then like he said, you went out and told his friends, plus them as well. Would you have done that without the bribe, probably?
I like it enough, I probably would have, but that probably made me do it sooner rather than later.
Right, exactly. Do you do that for every product you like?
Yeah.
Exactly. So the bribe did help, right?
Absolutely.
So one of the things you could do is when you're asking people to actually get you their friends, right? Tell your friends about it. You add a little encouragement or bribe, right? I guess I'm going to change the slides to say bribe. So one of the things we do here is our technology allows you to run sweepstakes. So I think sweepstakes done right can make a huge difference. for two reasons. One is more people are going to hear about your product if you run a sweepstakes, if you do it right. But the second thing is you're likely to hit that influencer that shares a video about your product on their wall or a link to your campaign, and then you get 1 million views because of it. But you don't know who that was.
What sweepstakes? Is it like giving free stuff away? Or
Yeah, exactly. Like a giveaway, and I'll explain a bit how that would work. But yeah, so you're more likely to hit that one influencer that's just gonna blow you up because their fans just love your stuff. And you don't know who that is, right? You don't know. There's a lot of people with a lot of fans. Some of them have 100,000 fans, and nobody even likes. They don't even get 1 or 2 likes on their post, right? Or it might not be the right audience. So there is no secret way or formula to say, oh, that's the guy or the girl that needs to share my stuff for it to blow up. You don't. So you improve your chances of hitting it, right? With getting enough people to share it. But now the bribe, how that would work. I'm actually going to go into detail on this one because it's important. Okay. So if you're running a sweepstakes online, if you're not running it on Facebook, don't even just give up. Because first thing is you need a good post to the link to your sweepstakes. If I don't see a good post, if it doesn't have good copy and photo's not good, it doesn't intrigue me, it doesn't get me curious as to what that product is, I'm not going to click on it, right? So that can kill the chance of going viral, right? But if you set it up properly, you have a good post that actually asks people to register. Ask people to register for that sweepstakes. That's important. I'll give you an extension. A lot of people run sweepstakes on their fan page, and all they do is post something that says, "Hey, if you share or like this, I'll pick somebody who shares and likes this, and I'll give them, I don't know, one of my products, right?" And it's great, it helps, right? But let's say 100,000 people liked it. You got lucky. But you got maybe 10 people to buy your product after that from those 100,000, right? Because they just wanted a chance to win. What if there was 1,000 people out of those 100,000 that might actually buy your product, but later, not right now, I'm busy. You know, my kid walked in, or I have to feed the dog or walk the dog, and I walk out of my desk, and I don't buy right now. You have a way to get back to those 100,000 people and ask them, "Hey, would you like to buy my product?" Right? No way at all. So you wasted that product that you give away and that traction because you have no way of contacting those people, right? So not fun. Not fun if once you know that there's a way to do it, then you realize that it was a waste. So if your sweepstakes actually asks people to register, and you're actually collecting their name and their email, or maybe their Facebook ID to run an ad, then you got something. In exchange for that chance to win, they gave up the goods, right? So even trade. Like hitting like, big deal, right? I don't think that's a fair trade-off. But the next thing is, which is a viral formula, now run it in such a way that once they register, you tell them that, hey, for every friend that you invite over to come register for the sweepstakes, I'm going to give you another chance to win. That's the bribe, right? Okay, and this is actually one of the campaigns. This one did 627,000. So if you read that headline, it was Hydrate that we worked with. They raffled off 7 of their smart water bottles and 3 Apple Watches. So they weren't raffling off something that was $10. They were raffling off something that was good. Now, speaking of that, normally I tell people not to raffle off something that's not their product, because a lot of you might see sweepstakes for an iPad, so you're going to get a bunch of people who want an iPad, not your product. And they don't, I mean, their product's not an Apple Watch, they're not Apple. But in this case, I was fine with it because their water bottles actually sync with the Apple Watch. So I said, okay, fine, that's the exception. But that's very important. Now, and there's a lot of things that go into it. If you guys want to know more, obviously having the time down counter to get some urgency and all that, there's a lot that goes there. But another thing that's missed is once people registered, yes, you're going to tell them to tell their friends, but it's just sad when I see this. So I went there, I registered for the sweepstakes, great, I'm waiting for my chance to win, maybe I'll win. You have my attention, and maybe I want to buy, but you haven't even told me to go buy. So you're wasting that opportunity right there. It's like, it's sad, right? I mean, someone's walking through the door and there's nothing for sale in your store. So don't waste it. Obviously for Kickstarter, you want to make sure you have in that video that says, hey, tell your friends about it. By the way, if you don't want to rely on luck and you actually like our stuff, go pledge, right? Or like I said, or for any other kind of business that you want to do a sweepstakes for, you want to definitely make sure that you have their attention. You're selling them something, right? Make sense?
Oh yeah.
All right. So obviously, once you bribe them, that's what kicks off the sharing. Let's see. This thing going not speak. Fine. That's it. There. Technology. Now, another thing that's important is actually there's two ways to run a sweepstakes. You can run it as a contest. And you can tell people, look, not only will you get more chances to win if you tell your friends to register, but the top 3 people that get the most friends to register are gonna automatically win. It's not gonna be random luck. If you're the top 3, you're gonna get a prize. And with a good leaderboard where people can actually check in and say, hey, you know what? Let's say I'm Joel down here and I'm in 4th or 5th place. I want to get at least the number 3 spot because I want to win something, right? These actually really work. I mean, I know the intention for it, and so I know what the psychology behind it, but I still fall for it. Like in the office here, every time we help a client set one up, we're always competing, Andrew and I especially, right? And like, how do we get ahead of the other one? And he'll share to the company's group and stuff, so he'll get ahead of me, but then I'll go and blast all my friends, and I've done it a couple times, but anyway, and I'm trying to compete, and it's just a water bottle. God, geez, for like $40 product, but it almost doesn't even matter. It's like I want to beat them, right? So that gamification part of it really works, especially like with our system. Like I said, if you do this yourself, make sure you do that. You actually list when I go back and check, and later I see my friends who have registered. I see their name. I see that Josh registered or he didn't, and he told me he was. Oh yeah, I'll register, sure, I'll help you out, I want you to win. Hey man, BS, you have it. So that also helps, right? Guaranteeing that follow through.
Free advertising.
Yeah. So you essentially, if crowdfunding is asking the crowd to help you raise money, this is crowd marketing. You're crowdsourcing your marketing, really. You're having a lot of people work for free. Imagine these 3 guys won. 462 people, 700 people. The way they did is we have a 2-tier system, so they got enough people and convinced them to actually call more people. So it was two levels deep that counted. That's how they got those big numbers. But you couldn't pay someone to actually go that crazy nuts online to promote your stuff. And again, one of the biggest reasons to do that is because your chances of hitting that big influencer that's going to blow you up and get you 1 million views on that video and get your product to go from like 100,000 to 500,000 go up. Just a little story for the undress. They were so active socially that eventually a radio station, somewhere was it Seattle or somewhere in Washington somewhere, they found out about them and shared it on their page, and they got more than 1 million views on that video. 2 million. They didn't contact that radio station. They didn't know to contact them. They didn't know about them. It just happened. Because eventually, with enough shares, it hit that right person, and then it happened. In the last maybe 5 days, they went from 100,000 to 600,000 from that last little, not so little, social activity, right? But so again, it's important. Again, speaking of which, I'm gonna actually go back. I almost missed that.
Have you quantified how that last contact was made to the radio station?
It wasn't tracked. I mean, it's just anybody's best guess that everything, but I mean, it's kind of obvious. That's probably where a lot of the traffic came from, but it wasn't quantified. But another thing too is that leaderboard. If it's constantly changing, you want to share that. That's something else to share. A lot of the times, the hardest things in social media is finding where do I share, right? How do I create content? In fact, most people are not content producers. One of the things that got Facebook to work is that initially they realized that when you log in, most of us are there to look and see other people's content. We're not creators. But what they did with the photos that allow friends to tag you is that you can log in and all of a sudden you have content on your wall because a friend tagged you on their photo. So all of a sudden, automatically you're producing content. That's one of the things and reasons they blew up. So it's hard to come up with content to produce. So this is an obvious one, right? I mean, you take a screenshot of that leaderboard and tag those people and say, hey, so-and-so just got ahead. Are you gonna let them beat you, right? Sure, why not, right? You have the Facebook profiles, you can tag it. But at least with ours, anything in this. All right. Here's a couple things. Community. That thing I used to hate. There's two ways. I think there's a lot of ways to build a community. You can go on the street and scream to enough crowd. You attract enough of a crowd, and now there's a community, right? If they stick around. But anyway, there's two ways that we like to build community. The first one is Facebook groups, and the second one is live video events. Who's part of a group on Facebook? Okay.
It should be everyone at the end of this.
Who's ever ran a Google Plus Hangout? Yeah, all of us obviously are here internally, but how about inside Facebook? A Google Hangout inside Facebook. Anyone's done that? Other than probably just us here. But this is actually where the skateboard campaign I was talking to you about. One of the things we recommended is that they actually run live hangout events every so often. Every time they reach a stretch goal. Who knows what a stretch goal is? I gotta cover that. Okay, so real quick, when you're running a campaign, they recommend that you have a small goal, a safe goal, that for two reasons to look, two things to think about. One, when you reach that goal, is that enough money to actually deliver a product? If you set a goal at $1,000 and the manufacturer is telling you that you need at least, 1,000 orders and it's not enough money to get the initial batch, then that's too low of a goal because it's dangerous. You're not going to fulfill that promise, right? But you don't want it too high because what you want is for people to see that campaign actually is going to get funded. If there's a campaign that wants $100,000 and they're at $1,000 right now and there's 2 days left, I'm not going to bother pulling out my wallet because they're not going to make it. I'm busy, right? Everyone is. So you want to set that goal. So what you do with stretch goals is you set it low. You might set it for 20,000, but you don't want 20,000. You might want 100,000 or 500,000. So once that hits, what we recommend is people actually run a live hangout and have a celebration. And invite all their backers and all their friends and everybody on their list and all their fans and every email they've been collecting through their sweepstakes. Send them a message and tell them to come watch and meet the company. Okay, so I'll go into details of why that's a big deal. But every time they hit a stretch goal, in that first celebration, tell them, look, we already hit our 20,000. Our next goal is 50,000. And if we hit 50,000, we're going to add another color. So we have black and blue and gray right now. We're going to add red and yellow if we hit 50,000. Or we're going to add Bluetooth technology to whatever gadget I'm building if we hit 100,000. That way people don't go, well, you already hit your funding. I mean, you don't need my support. Yeah, I do. There's milestones I want to hit right after that initial goal. And that drives the people who already supported you to go tell their friends about it because they want that extra feature on the gizmo or gadget that you're selling them, right? So that encourages, again, bribe somewhere there. Now, groups. So you've all been part of a group, or who shares constantly on the group? You do? Some of you? Okay. Funny thing about groups. Who's heard about Facebook pages and the organic reach and the fact that it's tanking, right? Okay. Right? You hear that a lot. If you're connected to any marketing publications online, there's almost one article about that every other day. But one thing that hasn't changed or dropped in organic reach is groups. Because guess who's posting on a group? Is it a fan page?
No.
Members.
It's a person. It's a profile, right? and the organic reach of a profile has not dropped. In fact, that's gone up, right? So in a group, that's one thing that's going for you. If you create a group and you're posting something, you're not posting as your company, you're posting as yourself. Guess what? The people have to know who you are. You can't hide. So, which is a good thing. Then there's more likely that people are going to actually see that post. That's one thing that's great about that. The other thing is, people have, it's almost like they feel safe in a group, right? I've never been to a AA meeting, but I'm sure I've seen enough on TV that it's a safe environment, right? Everybody there is an alcoholic, so you're more likely to feel comfortable sharing. Well, everybody in here likes your product, so they're more comfortable sharing and talking about it, because if, like this skateboarding company, or let's say in this case, Hydrate, water bottle, if you go and talk about hydration and water and sports and all that, you're not going to seem like you're always talking about the same thing on your profile, because everybody in here wants to hear that. It's safe, right? And it's cool because people are going to interact and talk about it because they all have that common interest. So that's part of what actually helps a group not only have more reach, but actually get a lot more engagement. And that's why at night I stay up and actually answer people in our group, right? Because I get sucked into it. It just happens. It works. But for this group, for this company, they had, what, 1,000 fans on their page, I think, when they started, Josh, remember? About 1,000 and change?
Yeah.
They ended up with, I think it was 4,000 fans. They did not have a group when they started their campaign, and they ended up with close to 5,000 members on a group. More than fans, actually. So anyone who's done any media marketing would know this, but what's worth more, a fan or a member in a group? Definitely, right? Well, what's cool about the way we did it is, we didn't just leave it open up for anyone to join. We put a little gate on that app for registering to the sweepstakes. Everyone who registered into the sweepstakes got added to the group. So you can just create a random group on Facebook and set it up and just leave it open for people to join, because you don't want to make it hard because you want everybody to join. But guess what? Just like the sweepstakes example where it got all these shares, you don't know who those people are. You can't, there's scraping and things you could do but they're illegal and you're gonna get caught and you don't want to go there, but you really don't know who they are. So the way we did it is, we didn't leave it open, we had people register and then we let them in the group. Because guess what, for every person on that group, we know their name, their email, their Facebook ID, where they're from, if they're a guy or a girl. Sometimes it's not always from the photo of the name, but so we knew gender. So we had all this data. Guess what happened once we had that data? What did we do with that?
Look alike.
Exactly, we advertised for them, right? Because not everyone who went in the sweepstakes has actually bought, right? They want to win, they're interested in your product, but they haven't bought. So that's gold, right? That's gold. So not only did they have that member group of them with close to 5,000 members, they had an email list. Let's see. Yeah, we went through all that. I got ahead of that. All right, good. All right, Hangouts. Okay. I get it all set up. So you guys have heard of Google Plus Hangouts before. Periscope and Meerkat and all those other cool little things. That was the way newscasters would do their live things, or a lot of them would use Google Hangouts, right? They still do. But there's two ways to run this Google Hangout. There's a lot of ways, but there's two ways I'm going to talk about. One of them, you can go straight to Google and set up an event and schedule it for whenever, I don't know, next week on Tuesday or whenever, and tell people to go there, right? And you're going to get people watching because you invited your list and people went to the sweepstakes. But YouTube's going to tell you there's, I don't know, 100 people watching. Do you know who those 100 people are? No. So again, you're not going to make it easy, right? What we do is we put a registration page before they can watch. And obviously, we make it cool enough and intriguing enough so they want to register, right? You don't just put a button there. So that when they register to be able to watch, now you know who those 100 people are. You have, again, their name, their email, their Facebook ID. Catching the drift? So that's the other way of doing it, actually putting in a registration, putting some value behind it. You're going to spend some work putting that together, right? You might as well get something out of it. That's the exchange, right? And look, if they don't want to register, they're not interested in your stuff anyway. So you don't want them watching, right? So what we do is through our system, we actually embed that inside Facebook. That's actually a regular Facebook page. It's our page, actually. while the video's playing, there's actually, if you scroll down, there's comments on there. People can interact with you with Facebook comments, not Google Hangouts, Google Plus Hangouts. Comments. But it's dying, by the way. But more importantly, there's actually, again, like in the sweepstakes, you have their attention now. You gotta ask them to do what? Buy, right? If you don't ask, if you send them straight to Google, there's no buy button. So, or Google Plus or YouTube. So that's very important. Every time I see someone do that without having a button, it hurts. Because I know they went through pain to put that together and organize that. Now, why is that such a big deal? Why do I want to be live on camera and be nervous and scared and worried that someone's going to ask a weird question and I can't answer it? Why do I want to do that? Here's why. Because people, especially on crowdfunding sites, they don't just buy the product. In fact, I think they buy the people more than they buy the product. They buy that person, right? Because if I go on there and I see this cool gadget, let's be honest, I might not need it, right? We don't need it. We need food and shelter. That's it, right? So I don't really need it. But, I really like those people. I'm going to support them. Can I say that if I don't know who the heck they are? No, right? So when you go live on camera, sometimes you may be nervous, but believe me, I'm always nervous and worried no matter how many of these I get on. But once I'm on, it's over. It's fun. Here's why it's fun, because you have people asking you questions and interacting with you, and it's people who like your stuff that otherwise they wouldn't be watching, right? And if it's an idiot once in 100 hangouts that we ran, we haven't had maybe one bad comment, right? Then you ignore them, right? Big deal. Or address the question if it's a genuine question. But what's great is that they get to know who you are. What I recommend people on these hangouts is a few things they don't miss. Number one, their story. People love a story, right? Why? What was your struggle, right? How many prototypes did I have for this product, right? And this little problem that I had and I couldn't solve, and so helped me, and it finally happened, right? They love that struggle and that story. Why? Because we all have struggles in life and we can all relate to that, right? Not only that, number two, they want to see that you're human, right? If you're perfect, hey, I just thought of this idea, and like in 2 days I had a perfect design, and now we're selling, we're making a lot of money, great. I don't relate to that, right? So if I can relate to that person and see them like I see myself, the human part of it, I'm gonna be able to say, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I really need it, but I like those guys. I don't skate. I bought 2 skateboards. It's gonna hurt. Right.
Break 2 shoulders.
I'm running. I'm out of shoulders. But so that's very. Also, at the same time, it's a good opportunity for you to tell them, hey, look, we hit our $20,000 goal. Our next stretch goal is $50,000. Here's what you're gonna get. Again, it's an opportunity to pitch. Really, you're selling at the same time. Anything else? I think I'm missing out. Anything else?
I don't know, do you guys even know anything about Hangouts? I mean, there's a lot we can go. They're free to do, so there's no money there. I mean,
Right.
you can run a Hangout right now, go to your YouTube account, and you can boot up a live Hangout and stream from your laptop. They're not like Periscope and these other things where you do it from your phone. They're mostly like, use your laptop, like old people nowadays. Not walking around like this. A little more like stable with a computer there and a webcam.
Right.
But that's about it. They're free to do. So.
Yeah, and it's funny when Andrew and I did one of our first ones, we were praying that nobody was watching, right? Like, oh, nobody was on, great, because we were so nervous, right? And that's
Practice.
Yeah.
Definitely do a practice run if you're ever gonna do it. Don't like invite everyone and then like, crap, I'm gonna figure this out. Because it's gonna go really, really bad. So.
The lighting has to be right.
One thing, but one point on that is we started doing that for our company when nobody knew about us, and we just wanted to show off our technology. So we started doing weekly hangouts, just 1 hour with our customers, and people started sharing our company. So we basically built all this off of our own experience, where we had, what was it, like 15,000 new customers in 90 days.
Right.
Came from us going and just saying, we're gonna do this, and people liked it. And we were terrible at that time. I can't even watch the first ones we did. They were so bad. I mean, the technology was way worse back then too, so it was just a train wreck. And people really enjoyed it though. And hearing some of our biggest fans now,
Right.
who've been around for years now, paying customers of ours say, man, those were so fun. Like, they just remember back to the glory days of those hangouts, and they would watch us messing up, but it was pretty fun.
It would crash every 3 or 4 minutes, and
We're like, I can't believe you guys watched and like sat and watched us
So Renee, I have a question on the, when you do, you know, the sweepstakes. Can you do sweepstakes with a nonprofit, or is that tacky? You know, I've done sweepstakes of
I don't think it's
things.
tacky. I mean, nonprofits are known for selling tickets for raffles, right?
Right.
I mean, I think that's actually more natural, if anything. But the key here, okay, again, going back, if I see, just pretend this is the sweepstakes, if I see a post on there that says, hey, help me win whatever this is, and I'm your friend, I see it on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
What are you giving away that's going to get me to go, you know what, I really see her having that. I'm going to go help her out. Or I want it, right? I'm going to go find out.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to find that one thing. I think that's one of the things that are harder when there's not a physical product, is that what's that one thing that when someone sees that post, they're going to want it or want you to have it, right? To create that whole viral thing. And again, it has to be something related to, in this case, your cause, right? So I don't think it's tacky. It just you got to think about what you're giving away. That's all. I'm pretty. If anyone wants to ask questions, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh no, actually no. This is pretty cool. Some of the classes that. All right, patience. There we go. So Dennis, one of our business partners, just decided to run one. Had a great idea. It's funny. He had me going. I told somebody earlier. He had me going for weeks, telling me there's this one thing I could do, where when we could change in public without getting naked, and it's not a curtain, it's not this, it's not that. And I'm like, what is it? Well, you got to find out when you see the demo. He had me going for weeks. What is it? And I'm trying to solve the problem in my own head, and obviously I haven't spent enough time on it. As much as he did.
Figure it out.
Right. And I missed that first demo. I couldn't make it. I was pissed off. But that's one way to actually create a buzz initially. So everything I told you, you can run it before the campaign starts to actually have a list, so that when you start the campaign, you're much better shape. But they did fairly well. Their goal was 22,000. I think there's a 22 in there for a reason. But anyway, and they ended up raising 615,000, and with more than 7,000 backers.
Well, the best part too is they have an ongoing business now with that. I was part of that campaign and helped out just from our side. Dennis was really focused on the things that Rene went through at the beginning. Who are the actual customers? What do they want? What do they like? Getting to know who's interested in this product, because he really didn't know. He went for like the triathletes, so like people were very active at first. We found it was a much broader audience than he thought it would be, who would want this kind of thing. Even high school kids, children would want the ability to change their clothes in different places. So it really opened up. He learned a lot, and it wasn't a total coincidence. I mean, there was some fun viral stuff that happened at the end, the last few days, where it kind of blew up on Facebook. But his message was so much better by that point. So when he did go big and get viral exposure, he had tweaked his campaign enough to where everyone who showed up had a really good experience, and he could really communicate to them effectively, because he worked really hard in the first few weeks identifying that customer as they were coming in. So he took that first 1,000 backers and was able to multiply that within 30 days, and now he's continued that process as any good business would, and they've developed and expanded, and they're doing really well now.
Yeah, they kept selling. They had a pre-order page. One of the things that a lot of people miss is, as soon as your campaign's over, you better be ready to take orders on an order page outside of that in your page.
The minute your campaign ends, you should have a website that'll take at least some kind of pre-order or something. We were actually, the whole night before, I helped him make the website. Right. So that when the campaign ended, we threw up a website in like a matter of hours. The campaign ended. He was having $100,000 day for the last 3 days. So he had $100,000 in pledges. And then the campaign ends. Doesn't mean people stop showing up. They were showing up and then it was over, but we had a big button there, because right before the campaign ended, we put a button on the Kickstarter page that, hey, go buy here. Thanks for supporting us. Went to the website, and he was doing 30,000 plus a day in pre-sales on the website after the campaign.
Yeah, it was insane, but he had it ready, right?
Yeah.
It just hurts when someone doesn't have that, and you know they're losing thousands of sales right after, and the buzz dies if they don't keep feeding it, right? One of the things that he did great is, if if you're on Facebook, you might as well be social, right? Every minute he had, any chance he had, he created a video. Hey guys, we're doing this. Hey guys, we just hit so many dollars. Hey guys, we just hit so many backers. And even after the fact, hey, we're visiting the factory. Everything was shared. Like, I have to tell myself to create content. He's just natural at it. But you know what? He's not, actually. So I'll tell you that. He's not. He actually knows that's important. And for a lot of reasons, right? There's more things. You're in front of people more often. And not only that, people get to know you, right? And they connect to you. They don't feel like I ordered and who knows when I'm going to hear back from them. Or I'm going to get pissed off because they were a month late or whatever. No, they're with you throughout the process. So next, when we work with it, we need to show, this is a headphone company. And they have, patience.
So weird how slow it is.
It's weird, right? I think it's, what? Well, I don't know math memory, so. They end up raising, alright, you wanna mess with it? There we go.
Get through them all.
Alright, I guess. Their goal was 125,000, pretty high actually. But they knew that's what they needed to actually satisfy their customers. If they got less than that, it wasn't worth it. So that's why they set that goal so high. And then I'm doing 400,000. It was a higher price point, so it's 1,800 backers. By this time, we've improved our technology, and they ended up with 1,200 people on the crew. They got lucky. Towards the tail end, we were able to finish that, and then boom, it just kickstarted that. And then they ended up with a group with 1,200 people. And now every time that there's an update, they took a trip to Hong Kong to work on the prototypes or to talk to the manufacturers. They're always posting, not only on Kickstarter, but they're also posting on the Facebook group. The only reason I didn't miss the survey that you get at the end that says, hey, what color do you want this, and so forth, was because I saw it in the group. It wasn't because I got an email from Kickstarter saying there's a survey. Okay, they went to my spam box, right, or the other section, the promotion section on my Gmail, and I didn't see it, but I saw it on the group. So it works, right? So they got a lot of leads off that sweepstakes, right? This is free advertising, right?
How much did that turn into too?
Oh yeah. The conversion rate was, there's some drop off, so at the low end between 25 to 40% of the people who entered the sweepstakes actually went out, and yeah, it's insane. I couldn't believe it, right? They actually went and pledged, so that's a big part of that 400,000. Let's see now. This is,
Those are all organic leads, right?
yeah, these are people telling their friends about it. Now, this is the smallest campaign we've had, but this is the one I'm most proud of. They called us up a few weeks before it was over. They said, we're stuck. And I almost turned it down. And Dennis actually said, you know what, just take it. Do it. Mainly because if I didn't feel we could make a difference, I didn't want to do it just because there was so little time left. And their goal was 50,000. They were way below that. And they kept it going. This was actually Indiegogo. They kept it going. So last I tracked, there were 90,000, 786 people on Indiegogo, and 1,800 people on that group. It's great. I mean, they need the money, but you know what gets excited? This is a promise of a future for that company. They have an audience. They have a group of people they can keep talking to that pays attention, that's going to end up referring more people and actually buying more product, right? Right? You don't, I mean, people who skate, they don't just have one skateboard. But I don't. I had to.
Something tells me that might break as well at some point down the
eventually,
road.
right? So they got a lot of leads out of that sweepstakes. One of the things, I might as well cover this now. If you're running this campaign by yourself, don't. Just to give you an idea, every one of those backers got a message saying, thank you for backing us, blah, 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 go register here. I think I mean, it should be 24 hours, but I know people have to sleep, but it should be less than, in fact, if you get down to 10 minutes after they pledge, that's perfect, because people are expecting an email confirmation. So if you send them a message saying, hey, thank you for supporting us, blah, 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 they're really likely to see it. They were on top of it, right? They kept taking turns, and there was a chat we had, and now it's your turn, now it's your turn. They're always watching that. As soon as somebody new came in, they were sending the message, right? So you can't do this by yourself, right? Get somebody on the other side of the world to take the time when you're sleeping, right? But it's very key, right? Otherwise, that one customer ends in one customer versus getting you a lot more referrals, right? Not only that, you're not going to have all the skills you want. When one person normally doesn't have all the skills you need, they had a person that was really good running ads that really helped them come back and get some life. So again, you can't do this by yourself. I was talking to somebody earlier about Steve Jobs, and I think one of the things that was great about him is he knew how to find talent, push it too, but he knew how to find talent. It wasn't all in his mind, right? So you need to create your own dream team. Otherwise, it's kind of be
Well, it's
hard.
a good opportunity too. I've seen that a lot of times groups and companies are formed out of the Kickstarter because people are drawn to that. You can find really good talent because it's a really temporary project. So you can say, hey, come be a part of this. You know, if it goes big, this will be great on your resume. You're a part of this campaign. I know Dennis found a lot of talented people to help him with this campaign. He did not pay a lot of money. You don't have to pay a lot because it's more of an opportunity situation where you can attract some young people in college who just want to get in the game and try their skills in a real world environment. So I know Dennis had the girls doing the messaging almost around the clock. They were a little overwhelmed by the end of it. It turned into a bigger project than they expected, and myself too, trying to help out. But what I saw is they were all totally in because there was a deadline.
Right. Right.
Everyone's like, all right, there's only like 3 more days, so let's just tough it out and make it happen and see how far we can push it. So it's a good opportunity to find cool people, and then out of that, we kept a few of them as employees. So
Right. Yeah, it's like a marathon, right? So not only that, you'll learn a lot. If you don't learn a lot, it's because your campaign failed, right? So if you didn't take the time to learn it, but if it's going to succeed, you're going to learn a lot. So whoever's on your team is going to get a lot out of it, right? I think in that month you learn more about marketing than you would with a college degree in marketing, but anyway, that's my opinion. This last one we worked with, the example you saw with the sweepstakes, the goal was 35,000. 627,000, that's the one that you wrote the headline on, right? This is the one you guys showed up for. 8,000 backers, close to 5,000 members on the group, and more than 4,000 leads off that sweepstakes. This is insane. There's people who for months and years try to grow a Facebook group, and it doesn't hit 1,000, right? In actually 3 weeks, they hit it to 5,000. So if you've done enough marketing, you know this is gold. This is, in some ways, I've seen this happen. I haven't seen this happen too often. Right? And again, I'm actually going to talk about this briefly. In the beginning, I asked who owns that customer, right? If you only have them in that group, and that's the only way you have a way of getting a hold of them, who owns that member? Facebook. If you also have their name, their email, their date of birth, and their Facebook ID and all that, and Facebook shuts down that group because you did something stupid and you spammed or something, right? Usually. Then can you go out there and actually invite people somewhere else where they can interact or start a new group? So who owns that client?
You do.
All right. So a lot of people will tell you, well, don't build on Facebook because you don't own anything. Well, great. Then go out, build in the boonies in the middle of nowhere where there's nobody there. Create your blog, and it's going to be all yours by yourself, right? So no one's going to go. So you have to find the best of both worlds, right? Your business has to be in the mall where there's a lot of foot traffic, right? But you need to own the equipment in your restaurant. So if the landlord says, hey, you know what? I'm not going to renew that lease on that building, then you move that equipment somewhere else to another mall, and you keep your business going because you have your clients and you have everything, right? So you have to play both sides, right? You have to own your customers, but also be in the middle of the traffic, right? Right. So no one's being social on your blog when there's 2 readers.
Who is
Right.
the main customer group for this? What
I don't have the demographics
like
on it.
do you have an avatar that you?
They do, but I don't off the top of my head. But if you're interested, I can ask.
No, I was just curious how I think about it, that particular product found such a large following.
You know, all right, it's interesting. Okay, there's actually a Kickstarter campaign about, and some of you from Third Space might have. No, actually, no, it wasn't. He didn't talk about that there. Sorry. There's a potato salad campaign You guys heard of it?
Yeah.
And that's proof. For those of you who haven't, some guy said, I'm actually gonna create a potato salad party or have a potato salad party, and I need your help because I'm gonna make a lot of potato salad, right? And you get, I forgot how much money you raised, right? 50,000. That's
for $10.
That's a pretty nice potato salad, right? And that's just proof that the messaging and the positioning is so important. In fact, when we work for clients, if they don't have good branding and good message and a solid video, we won't take them on. Because we can multiply a bad message, and it's just going to be a bad message, and a lot of people are going to hear about it and not buy it. So, anyway, so that's how a campaign that you may think, well, what's the big deal about it, right? Well, you're probably not in that demographic, so you're more one person to say that it's what's the big deal about it, but it is to somebody, and it is positioned in such a way that somebody's going to care. When my brother saw this, you know the first thing he told me? You kidding me? We don't have the discipline to actually, let me explain what the product is so it makes sense. It actually reminds you when, so that you drink enough water. It knows how much water you drank out of that bottle, and it'll actually, the bottle will light up if you're not drinking enough water. Pretty cool, actually. So my brother told me, you kidding me? I don't have the discipline to carry a liter of water and just drink it? I mean, am I that undisciplined?
Yeah.
And I told him, yeah. People are, right? You forget, you're busy. It's not because you don't care or you don't have discipline. You have many other things to do, right? But their messaging was right. They had good targeting. Everything was correct, so it got there. Another example, I should have put it on the slide. There's a company called Nevia. Am I saying it right, Josh?
Yeah,
Anyone heard of it? Last couple of days, I think they're on their third day. They're probably about this morning. They were at 1.3 million, I believe, in 2 days. It's a water shower faucet that helps you that uses 70% of it saves 70% of the water, right? So anyway, they have Tim Cook as an investor, one of the original CEOs of Google as an investor. So they got a lot of publicity, and not only that, but the timing was right. Right now in California, we're in a drought, right? So everybody wants to save water, so the message is right. I mean, it's all about helping the environment, helping us actually have water and all that. So it got there, right? So they're probably gonna break a record.
Yeah, they're probably going to be the biggest Kickstarter ever, so you should probably check it out.
Be a part of history.
Sometimes
I wish we
it's
tell our
good.
kids about it.
Yeah, I wish it was in our client list, but
I thought you were going to say it reminded you of soap.
it reminds you of what?
Use soap.
Oh, yeah, no, that was
There's
a
an
cool
app that reminds you of shower. Reminds you of shower.
So, anyone have any questions? Anything I went over? Back there.
What do you think would be a good initial goal for Kickstarter?
Like I said before, there's two things that you're gonna look at. If you get that goal, you're gonna get the money. Is that money enough for me to put an initial order with a manufacturer? If it's not, go up to Liz. And I wouldn't go higher than that. The bare minimum that you need to actually fulfill the order, that should be the goal. But you know what? I'm guessing. I don't know what your product is, so just from what I've seen. But anyone else?
I do, which may be like something you're gonna talk later, but something about realistic expectation is like what to do when your project potentially doesn't make it.
What do you do when what?
Damage control when your Kickstarter project, Indiegogo or Patreon or something just doesn't make it.
At the very end and it's done?
No, like you don't reach it, like the goal.
Right, so the campaign's over, you haven't reached it. What's the next step?
I was just looking for a topic.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? There's a campaign called the Coolest Water Cooler. You heard of it?
Yeah.
They had their first one fail, and their second one was Indiegogo, right? Kickstarter. I'm sorry. And the second time they ran it, they broke record, right?
Yeah, 10 million.
Yeah. So
That failed the first time, then they figured out like they were off their targeting and their message. It's okay. Nothing went wrong. I can just start another one later.
That's what I was gonna
Rebranded.
ask you.
Yeah.
I have one that isn't doing well, and I see a lot of mistakes I'm making with it. Should I pull it off? It doesn't have an end date to it, it's
Oh.
on the nonprofit page.
Okay.
CostVox with all nonprofits. Should I pull it off and refresh and make correct my mistakes and go back on, or shall I correct my mistakes and stay there?
You know what? I'm guessing right here because I don't know what site you're on. Do they allow you to keep that money even if it doesn't reach the goal?
Yeah,
They do.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the one that, it's CauseFox, it's just for nonprofits.
Does it allow you? Is that enough money to? I don't know if you promised anything. I'm not familiar with the platform. Did you promise anything with the pledge or the donation?
No.
No. I don't see why you would stop it. Keep it going.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just fix my mistakes.
Right, and use that money to fund the next
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So there's no risk, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? Good.
Can you talk a little bit more about awareness and if you will do a sweepstake for awareness?
Oh, okay. You're talking about before the campaign, right?
Correct.
It depends on the sweepstakes. Like I said, I recommend that it's your product. So if your product's ready for the limelight, if you have a good prototype, sure, why not? I don't see why not. Raffle off your product. They won't be able to get it, but they can win it.
Well, one of the most important things, if you can, you have a big email list before the campaign starts. If you have a good day one of your Kickstarter, that's really, really powerful. So your goal should be to get about $10,000 your first day of the Kickstarter. Now that could vary based on your goal, but that's usually the sweet spot where you can get some real good momentum going. Maybe some PR, a higher chance of getting on Kickstarter's algorithms, be one of the featured projects.
Right.
So your preparation is really important. So if you can get an email list ahead of time and then get the build up, the hype, so that when day one it releases, you have people ready to go and pledge. So getting them to commit ahead of time is cool.
Mhm.
We've talked about using those two strategies. The sweepstakes might be a little challenging.
The live hangouts definitely.
The hangout one to celebrate the launch of Register
Right.
Now. You're the first to know about like this cool product we're releasing. So get that intrigue, the mystery of it is a good. So talk about the problem that they have. Like, hey, we're gonna present the solution in 3 weeks. You be the first to know about it. You know, get on the waiting list now.
Right. Dennis, our partner who launched the Andres, wanted to wait for his patent application to go through, so he didn't release it. But had he done it, imagine building up all the hype, like he did to me in person, right? Telling me, having me guess what the heck is this thing that does this, and inviting people to an event, a live virtual event that reveals what that thing is, right? And you demo it out, you tell them what it's about, and you say, hey, 5 minutes ago we opened, or we open now you can go pledge. So that's one strategy. You could definitely do that. Like Andrew's saying, it's very key to get to your goal as quickly as possible because you'll get publicity, you'll get a lot more exposure to the algorithms of Kickstarter and all that. So as many people as you can get to commit to or to like this product, the better, right?
How do you prime the pump for the press and the blackout period and so on?
The press, I'll be honest with you, I'm not good at PR. So, yeah.
More systems and strategies versus press. So, John, maybe you can comment a little bit.
A couple years ago, I worked at a crowdfunding PR company. That's about the time when I learned that they're all a bunch of scams. So I would never trust a crowdfunding PR company because what it's basically, it's promising you publicity and getting in touch with influencers. And as someone that I write on a lot of publications and I'm a blogger, I get hit up maybe 3 to 4 times a day by people that want PR. And I can't even give them PR. I don't even have that opportunity. It's just nuts. And they do the same thing. And honestly, it's such a joke. And if you just Google that company's name and maybe fraud report right next to their company's name, you'll pop up a whole bunch of lists of negative reviews. So never trust those type of companies.
Well, we've worked with companies who had failed experiences with PR companies. A lot of times they'll try to take a big percentage of your campaign and they'll promise a lot of things and maybe it'll work. Some of their campaigns will explode and then they look really good and then they use that to leverage that they just, because of their connections with press, they can get you that same kind of result when they can't really guarantee any of that, right? So
it's do or die. It might work, it might not work. So I would hate to be in that business because the chances of me or a customer being pissed off because we didn't succeed are high. So it's rough.
So So you do a little for it, but either way, you want to have a good system in place so that whoever does show up, you have a process for them to go through where you can collect their information, you can multiply those people as they come in. So if it does blow up, you'll still be in good shape. If it doesn't, you're doing as much damage control as you can, and take what you have and work with what you got and try to use the strategies from there.
I was in public relations for years.
You know more than we do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would never go back to the PR route with what's available with social media and everything. It's just your chances, your odds, and your of spreading yourself are so much greater with social media than PR anymore. PR is just, and I have some old friends of PR kind of lingering out there, and they're just hanging on. You know.
Can't you link a PR campaign to your virtual press
You can.
release
You
thing
can.
and link the two together?
But how do you get
Update
people to
and
see
then-
it and care?
Well, you send a press release to a news station, radio station, local stations. You can gather that.
Well, if they're
information.
gonna put your press release on, they'll put anyone else's press release
No,
on.
have it to where they VIP to see an early release of the product before it gets released to Kickstarter.
I mean, any exposure does not hurt.
Yeah.
Is it gonna work? I don't know, but any exposure, it can't hurt. I mean, if one person sees it and pledges, there's a win, one, right? But it's you might get lucky, you might not. But
Yeah, I'd just like to go off that. There's like a great article I think you all should read. How many of you guys know Tim Ferriss? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Tim Ferriss is like a super entrepreneur. He writes some great articles, and he wrote this article about PR for Kickstarter campaigns, and he did it on a case study of a Kickstarter campaign that did really well regarding PR, and they had a systemized approach to how they got PR. They didn't use any PR companies, and they have all the templates within that blog post, so all the email templates they sent out to PR companies and how they outsource. So the guy that actually ran the crowdfunding campaign, didn't do any work. He had his virtual assistant do it for him. And get this, like, he has all the templates he sent to his virtual assistant for you to use as well. So like, he's like, use this stuff to blow up your campaign, and someone actually used all that stuff, and they made a second case study saying, look, it actually works if you use it. So yeah, just Google Tim Ferriss and
Great,
crowdfunding
I need to
campaign.
get that. Can you link me up with that?
At
Just
Tim
Google
Ferriss.
Epic Kickstarter.
post it to the group. Just post it to the group.
I'll post it to the group. Yeah,
Cool.
it's good.
It's kind of a standard for like anyone doing Kickstarter. You usually find that if you're searching for strategies, and like it's pretty high up in Google to like show up.
Yeah.
It's 2 years old, so.
Yeah.
But it's, if you're wanting to be frugal, it may be some tools in there for you.
Yeah.
Renee, you gonna put these slides up too in the group?
Yeah, sure. You'll do it, right? I think that's it. So
Josh, where you put the slides?
it's being recorded. It's gonna be on video. So
Yeah, we can't see it on there though.
no.
We can see you really well.
That's all that matters.
You're on TV.
This is 1.0.
All right, so you can do both, right?
Yeah.
On the video and the slides next to it.
Exactly.
If there's no more questions, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, there is a question.
Yeah, suppose you don't make that super spike here, 10,000 in your first or second day. How bad does that show for your odds of making it?
Well, I think the stats show that it's not necessarily good, but it doesn't mean it's a total lost cause. Like the skateboard company really struggled, but you can take what you get and see how far you can go with it. So
I mean, to tell you a little bit about that, without revealing too much, they worked hard. After we started with them, they wasn't just us, they worked really hard. At the end, I told one of the guys, look, I want to see 3 videos out of you a day in social. And it can't be the same person recording 3 videos. It needs to be you, it needs to be everyone in the company, it needs to be, I don't care if it's your mom saying why she loves you that you started this campaign and you're an entrepreneur. I want to see it. So, and they did. They went crazy and did it. So that was a lot of just sweat going into that. And they were able to revive it and make it happen. So I'm really, really happy for them. So it's not, you're not dead. It's just obviously what you want to do is build enough momentum early on, like you're saying, have that audience so that it happens in the first 3 days because it just gets easier that way, right? Otherwise it's painful. I mean, if you're going through that, you're feeling it, right? But it doesn't mean it's over, but
Well, and even Dennis with the Undressed, he didn't do, like you said, he didn't do a big pre-launch, so we learned a lot from what he did, what we could have done better. But he got, I think, 5 or 10,000 the first few days, so he did have some people help him out right off the bat. But even that wasn't nearly what he wanted to accomplish, so he had to really dig in and figure out, the people who did back it right off the bat, what was it about the campaign that they were most excited about? If you can get feedback from people, even 20, 30 people to say what it was, now you know what to focus on as you do your next, the rest of your campaign.
are you messaging every new backer that comes in?
We're messaging back?
Yeah.
Yeah, some, but I think it's only those that tell us who they are.
Right.
Right, and
Right.
we need the strategy to get everybody.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not. You just gotta put some hard work into it.
Putting hard work into it, that's not the question.
Smart work and hard work.
Yeah,
Combined
Yeah.
together.
Hard
Thank
work,
you.
yeah.
They come
Not the
together.
hard
Yeah.
work, I guarantee you, the hard work's there.
Yeah.
It's just-
Thank you.
It's a lot of stuff.
Right. Anyone else have a question? No. Looks like that's it. So, guys, thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you.
If you guys want to stick around, we'll be here for a while. Keep networking, exchanging business cards.
Yes.
Ask me any side questions.
Guys, definitely network with each other. This is all about cooperation. I mean, there's probably so many opportunities here that you can take advantage. I mean, look how many people there are, and there's bound to be someone that can help you out with a project you're going through. So just speak to as many people as you can and learn something from them and help them out because it'll do wonders for you. And thank you guys all for coming, much appreciated. And feel free to stick around even for a while, and we'll be here.